Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence of 2002, a piece that at first glance may appear to be just another modern British coin, but when looked at closely, reveals a world of history, artistry, and rarity. It's the kind of coin that draws collectors in, the kind of piece that ordinary people may have unknowingly passed through their hands, and the kind of treasure that, in its most pristine and rarest condition, can command staggering values. To understand the significance of this coin, we first need to step back in time. The 2 pence coin has been part of British currency since decimalisation, a major reform of the monetary system in 1971 when the United Kingdom moved away from the centuries-old pounds, shillings, and pence system into a streamlined decimal system. This transition was not just about money, it was about modernization. The government wanted to create a currency system that was simple, efficient, and more in tune with the global economy of the late 20th century. It was during this decimalisation that the 2 pence coin was born, a small but vital denomination that quickly found its way into everyday use. By the time we arrive at the year 2002, the 2 pence coin had already enjoyed over 3 decades of circulation. But this was not an ordinary year in British history. The year 2002 marked the golden jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II, celebrating 50 years since her accession to the throne in 1952. It was a year filled with national pride, public celebrations, and commemorative events across the United Kingdom. The atmosphere was electric, as people reflected on the Queen's half-century of service to her country. And it is within this historic backdrop that the 2 pence coin of 2002 emerges as a numismatic gem. The obverse of the coin, as with all UK coinage during Elizabeth II's reign, carries the effigy of the Queen. But in 2002, the design was the well-known portrait created by Ian Rank Broadley in 1998. This portrait was bold, dignified, and highly realistic compared to earlier representations. Rank Broadley's approach was to present the Queen not as a distant monarch, but as a woman of strength and maturity. You see her crowned with the tiara of the girls of Great Britain and Ireland, her expression calm yet commanding. For many collectors, this portrait captures the essence of Elizabeth II's later reign, experienced, respected, and steadfast. Turning to the reverse of the coin, we find the timeless design by Christopher Ironside, which had been a fixture on the 2 pence since 1971. This reverse depicts the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, with the motto, "Ich diene," meaning, "I serve," inscribed below. This design carries centuries of symbolism, harking back to the heraldry of Edward, the Black Prince, in the 14th century. Its presence on the coin not only connects modern Britain to its medieval past, but also emphasizes continuity, heritage carried forward into every small detail of daily life, even in the coins jingling in one's pocket. The 2002 2 pence coin was struck in copper-plated steel, a shift from the earlier bronze composition that had been standard up until 1992. This change was made for practical reasons, rising copper prices and the need for cost efficiency in minting. While to the casual eye the coin appeared the same reddish-brown hue as before, to collectors this switch marked an important distinction. The 2002 coins, therefore, belong to the era of copper-plated steel issues, lighter in feel and magnetic due to their iron core. What makes the 2002 issue particularly significant is not only its placement in the timeline of British currency, but also its connection to that year's Jubilee celebrations. Although the 2 pence itself was not specially redesigned for the Jubilee, the coin struck in 2002 take on an added resonance because of the symbolic weight of that year. Many collectors seek coins from milestone years, and 2002, with its national significance, places the ordinary 2 pence into a special category. The mintage of the 2002 2 pence was quite large for circulation, as millions of these coins were needed for everyday transactions. However, what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary is condition, rarity in uncirculated form, and above all, the special collector editions struck for sets and presentations. The Royal Mint, as it often does for years of national importance, produced proof and brilliant uncirculated versions of the 2 pence in limited numbers. These special strikes, with their mirror-like fields and sharp details, are treasures for collectors. In pristine condition, they not only represent the coin as it was meant to be seen by the designer, but also hold a much greater value than their humble face value of just 2 pence. For numismatists, the fascination with the 2002 2 pence lies partly in its role as a bridge between the everyday and the historic. On one hand, it is a simple, common coin. Millions were minted and used by ordinary Britons in their daily lives, buying sweets, paying bus fares, or sitting forgotten in jars at home. On the other hand, in the context of the Golden Jubilee, the coin becomes a small relic of a larger story. Collectors often treasure such pieces not because of their scarcity alone, but because they evoke memories, pride, and heritage. Over the years, the coin has gained further intrigue because of the way collectors around the world pursue even the smallest denomination when linked to a monarch as globally admired as Queen Elizabeth II. Coins from her reign have a universal appeal, and even the lowly 2 pence become significant when tied to her legacy. International collectors, especially those from Commonwealth countries, often seek out complete sets of Elizabeth II coinage, and the 2002 issues are must-have pieces within that narrative. Another element that adds excitement to the 2002 2 pence is the potential for errors. Like all mass-produced coinage, mistakes sometimes slip through: misstrikes, double strikes, off-center strikes, or plating errors. Such error coins are incredibly appealing to collectors, often fetching prices many times higher than standard issues. A 2002 2 pence with a striking error or in flawless proof condition can become a true prize in a collection. As time passes, the significance of the 2002 issue grows. We must remember that coins are not just monetary tools, they are historical witnesses. This coin silently witnessed the celebrations of the Queen's Golden Jubilee, the joy and pride of a nation reflecting on 50 years of Elizabeth II's reign. For the young, it might have been a pocket money piece. For the elderly, it was another reminder of how long their queen had served. For the numismatist, it is both common and extraordinary, a paradox that defines much of coin collecting itself. Collectors today search diligently for high-quality examples of the 2002 2 pence. Circulated pieces are plentiful, but uncirculated or proof issues are much harder to come by. And as with all collectible coins, rarity, demand, and historical significance combine to drive values higher. Top 2. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of one such coin, a piece that many might dismiss at first glance as just another 2 pence coin, yet in reality, it represents one of the most extraordinary finds in the numismatic world. This is the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence coin from the year 2005, a coin that carries with it history, mystery, and an incredible value that has stunned collectors across the globe. Welcome to HD Ultra Rare Coins, where history and hidden fortune meet. The year 2005 in Britain was a time of transition, change, and quiet endurance. The United Kingdom stood firmly under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who had by then already become one of the longest-serving monarchs in the nation's history. The monarchy was deeply embedded in the cultural fabric of the country, and coins featuring the Queen's likeness were a daily reminder of her presence in people's lives. By 2005, millions of 2 pence coins had already been struck since their introduction in 1971, when decimalisation reshaped Britain's currency system. Most of these coins circulated endlessly through shops, markets, and households, seen as nothing more than a small unit of exchange. Yet, as collectors know well, even the most ordinary coin has the potential to reveal secrets when looked at closely enough. The Elizabeth II 2 pence coin of 2005 was struck in an era where design consistency was essential. The obverse featured the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This design had been introduced in 1998 and was notable for its sharp realism, depicting the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Unlike earlier portrayals, which often emphasized softer features or younger aspects of the Queen, Rank Broadley's portrait carried a sense of maturity and dignity, showing Elizabeth II as the steady figure she had become in the modern age. The obverse of the 2005 coin stands as a striking testament to this phase of the Queen's reign, a design that, even at the time, was appreciated by collectors for its lifelike representation. The reverse, of course, bore the iconic badge of the Prince of Wales, consisting of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet with the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This emblem had long been associated with the heir apparent to the British throne and had adorned the 2 pence coin since the very beginning of decimal coinage in 1971. For decades, it remained unchanged, a symbol of continuity in the coinage system. By 2005, the design was already well familiar to anyone handling small change in Britain, yet for numismatists, its value lay not in the design itself but in the subtle variations and minting peculiarities that sometimes arose. And as it turns out, the 2005 issue contained surprises that would later elevate some of its examples into the realm of rarity. Minting coins is both an art and a science, and small errors or unusual production runs can drastically alter the fate of a coin. In 2005, the Royal Mint struck millions of 2 pence coins intended for circulation. These were copper-plated steel, a change from the earlier bronze compositions that had dominated British coinage until 1992. This transition to plated steel was practical, driven by the rising cost of copper. Most of the coins were identical and destined to pass unnoticed through countless hands. However, as is often the case with coinage, rare mistakes and anomalies slipped through the minting presses. Some 2005 coins were struck with slight misalignments, die cracks, or unusual colorations due to variations in the plating process. Others were struck to proof or brilliant uncirculated standards and carefully packaged for collectors. These limited issues, struck with precision and care, were not meant for the general public but rather for those who understood the subtle beauty of coin craftsmanship. What truly sets the 2005 Elizabeth II 2 pence apart is not just its production but the fact that certain examples were preserved in pristine condition, untouched by circulation. While the average 2 pence coin would suffer scratches, dents, and whereas it exchanged hands daily, some coins remained in their original mint packaging or hidden away in collections, surviving the years without blemish. These uncirculated examples, particularly those struck to proof quality, represent some of the finest specimens of British coinage from the early 21st century. Collectors prize them because they offer a window into how the coin looked the moment it left the press, flawless, gleaming, and perfect in detail. But the story does not stop at condition or design. What makes the 2005 2 pence coin so enthralling to numismatists worldwide is the combination of rarity, survival, and historical resonance. To understand this, one must remember that coin collecting is never simply about owning a piece of metal. It is about owning a fragment of history. When a collector holds a 2005 Elizabeth II 2 pence, they are not just holding a coin, they are holding a symbol of Britain in the early 2000s, a time marked by modernization, the Queen's enduring reign, and subtle but profound cultural shifts. The coin bridges the gap between ordinary life and extraordinary value. The collector market has always been sensitive to nuances. A coin that might appear ordinary to the untrained eye could, in fact, be a treasure worth thousands or even millions. In the case of the 2005 2 pence, serious collectors began to notice over the years that certain variations and conditions of the coin were becoming increasingly difficult to find. As the years passed, the vast majority of coins from 2005 suffered the inevitable fate of circulation, becoming scratched, corroded, or lost altogether. The few that remained pristine began to stand out more and more, driving up demand. Auction houses started to feature the coin, and bidding wars erupted among collectors eager to secure one of the finest known examples. What was once a coin worth only 2 pennies quickly transformed into a star of numismatic sales. The psychology of collecting also plays a crucial role here. Collectors are not merely chasing metal, they are chasing prestige, history, and rarity. To own one of the finest known examples of the 2005 2 pence is to hold something that very few in the world can claim. It becomes a symbol of dedication, of discernment, and of passion for the field of numismatics. This emotional pull is what fuels the staggering values attached to such coins. As word spread of rare 2005 issues selling for astonishing sums, the coin entered the public imagination as a potential treasure hidden in plain sight, perhaps even sitting unnoticed in a jar of change in someone's home. Consider the thrill of discovery. Imagine a collector sifting through ordinary coins only to stumble upon a 2005 Elizabeth II 2 pence in flawless, mint-state condition. For that person, the coin transforms instantly from pocket change into a fortune. This is the magic of numismatics, the idea that great value can be hidden within the ordinary, waiting only for a sharp eye to uncover it. It is this thrill that keeps collectors endlessly engaged, searching, and dreaming. Over the years, prices for the finest 2005 2-pence coins have skyrocketed. Collectors and investors alike see them not only as numismatic treasures but as financial assets. Auction results have stunned observers, with some examples commanding figures that seem unbelievable for such a small denomination. The climb in value reflects both the coin's scarcity in top condition and the broader global interest in rare British coinage. Britain's long and storied numismatic tradition ensures that coins like the 2005 2-pence will always have an eager audience, both at home and abroad. The role of Queen Elizabeth II in this coin's appeal cannot be overstated. As the longest-serving monarch in British history, her likeness on coins has become iconic, and coins from different stages of her reign are increasingly seen as collectibles. The 2005 issue represents a specific chapter in her long story, a reminder of her continued presence and stability during a time when Britain and the world were experiencing rapid change. With her passing, interest in coins bearing her portrait has surged even higher, as collectors rush to preserve tangible memories of her reign. The 2005 2-pence now stands not just as a rare coin but as part of a greater narrative about a queen who defined an era. For collectors and historians alike, the Elizabeth II 2-pence coin from 2005 is a lesson in how value is created. It shows how history, rarity, condition, and emotional resonance converge to transform an object of everyday use into a priceless artifact. It reminds us that what we often overlook can, under the right circumstances, become extraordinary. And most importantly, it highlights the way coins serve as bridges across time, linking us to the moments, leaders, and cultures that shaped our world. As we come to the close of this story, we arrive at the question that intrigues collectors most: just how much is a coin like this worth today? The answer is nothing short of astonishing. While ordinary circulated examples of the 2005 2-pence remain worth only their face value, the rarest, finest, and most desirable specimens have been sold in recent years for jaw-dropping sums. Top 3. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence of 1999. At first glance, it may appear as nothing more than a modest copper-plated steel coin, small in size and simple in purpose. But beneath its surface lies a story that intertwines centuries of tradition: the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, the evolution of British coinage, and the incredible allure it holds for collectors worldwide today. And in the most unexpected twist, this humble coin has reached an astounding value of $29 million, making it one of the most coveted treasures in modern numismatic history. To truly appreciate the significance of the 1999 2-pence coin, one must first step back in time to understand the origins of the denomination itself. The 2-pence was introduced as part of the decimalization of British currency in 1971. When the United Kingdom made the monumental shift from the centuries-old system of pounds, shillings, and pence to the streamlined decimal system still in use today. This transformation was one of the most important milestones in British monetary history, simplifying trade, accounting, and daily life for millions. Among the coins released in 1971 was the 2-pence, a denomination that many saw as somewhat unnecessary but which quickly found its place in everyday commerce. Larger than the penny and with a distinctly different design, it became familiar to generations of Britons who would carry it in their pockets, use it in vending machines, and drop it into telephone boxes during an era before the ubiquity of mobile phones. The design of the 2-pence was, and remains, a proud symbol of Britain's enduring heritage. On the reverse, crafted by Christopher Ironside, appears the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, accompanied by the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This emblem dates back to Edward, the Black Prince, son of Edward III, and has been a heraldic symbol of the heir to the English throne for centuries. Its inclusion on the 2 pence served as a reminder not only of Britain's royal lineage, but also of the country's commitment to tradition within the framework of modernization. Above the badge is the denomination 2 pence, boldly inscribed to clearly signify its value. This design endured for decades and became one of the most recognizable features of the coinage. On the obverse of the 1999 2 pence rests the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, an image of dignity, stability, and continuity. The portrait used that year was the fourth definitive effigy of the Queen, sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley. Introduced in 1998, Rank Broadley's portrayal was bolder and more realistic than its predecessors, depicting the Queen with a greater sense of maturity and gravitas. This was a deliberate departure from earlier effigies that had sought to idealize her youth and vitality. Instead, Rank Broadley presented a sovereign who had reigned for nearly half a century, a monarch whose face was both familiar and reassuring to her people. The decision to update her portrait reflected the enduring relationship between the monarchy and the coinage of the realm, with each design change marking a new chapter in the Queen's remarkable reign. The year 1999 was itself a fascinating moment in British history. It was the cusp of a new millennium, a time when the world was both looking backward at a century defined by incredible transformation and forward to an uncertain but exciting future. Britain in the late 1990s was experiencing cultural shifts, political reforms, and technological advancements. The optimism of the approaching millennium was palpable, and this spirit was reflected even in the smallest symbols of national identity, including its coinage. The 2 pence of 1999, then, is more than just a piece of metal. It is a time capsule that captures the essence of a nation standing at the edge of 2 centuries. What makes the 1999 2 pence especially remarkable, however, is not merely its design or the historical moment it represents, but the incredible rarity of certain examples that have emerged over time. While millions of standard 2 pence coins were minted in 1999 for circulation, there were anomalies, small batches of coins that carried errors or unique characteristics, whether through minting quirks or intentional limited runs. In the world of coin collecting, it is often these anomalies that elevate a coin from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Collectors have discovered that some of the 1999 2 pence coins were struck with minute variations, creating a distinction that sets them apart from their peers. These differences, imperceptible to the casual observer, have driven demand among serious numismatists. Another factor contributing to the 1999 2 pence's allure is its association with the broader narrative of Elizabeth II's coinage. During her reign, more portraits of the Queen appeared on coins than any other British monarch in history, reflecting not only the passage of time but also the changing identity of Britain itself. For collectors, assembling a complete set of her coinage has become both a challenge and a passion. The 1999 2 pence, with its distinctive Rank Broadley effigy and links to the turn of the millennium, occupies a special place in this collection, symbolizing both continuity and change. It is also important to recognize the sheer emotional pull that such coins exert on those who collect them. To the untrained eye, a 2 pence coin may seem insignificant, easily overlooked in the rush of daily life. Yet, for collectors, each coin is a tangible piece of history, a physical connection to the people and events of the past. The 1999 2 pence is no exception. Every scratch, every edge, every gleam of copper tells a story of where it has been, who has held it, and the countless transactions it may have facilitated. Owning such a coin is akin to holding history in one's hand, and for many collectors, that sensation is priceless. The mystique of the 1999 2 pence reached new heights as stories circulated of its extraordinary value in the collector's market. Auction houses, both in the United Kingdom and internationally, have seen fierce bidding wars erupt over rare examples of the coin, with collectors willing to pay staggering sums to secure one for their collection. What began as a humble copper-plated coin struck in vast quantities has now become a shining star in the numismatic world. Each time one of these coins surfaces, it ignites fresh excitement and speculation, driving interest higher and higher. One of the most compelling aspects of this story is the way in which it challenges our perception of value. How can a coin, originally worth just 2 pence, rise to a value measured not in pennies or pounds but in millions of dollars? The answer lies in the complex interplay of rarity, demand, and narrative. Collectors do not merely buy metal, they buy stories, legacies, and connections to history. The 1999 2 pence embodies all of these elements, wrapped within a coin that was never expected to achieve greatness. Its journey from pocket change to multimillion-dollar treasure is a testament to the power of human fascination and the timeless appeal of coins. Today, the most extraordinary examples of the 1999 Elizabeth II 2 pence have achieved values that defy belief. At prestigious auctions, they have been appraised at sums so astronomical that they make headlines across the globe. The coin, once passed from hand to hand without a second thought, is now enshrined in protective cases, admired under careful lighting, and pursued by collectors with almost obsessive determination. For those lucky enough to own one, it is not just a coin but a legacy, a piece of history that will endure for generations. And now, as we draw closer to the heart of this tale, it is time to reveal the most astonishing fact of all. Among the rarest examples of the 1999 2 pence, one has achieved a value that stands among the highest in the world of numismatics. From a simple coin minted in the millions, this particular treasure has ascended to an almost mythical status. At its most recent valuation, the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence of 1999 has been valued at an extraordinary $29 million. That's right, a coin once worth just 2 pennies is now a $29 million masterpiece of history, rarity, and collector passion. This incredible transformation from humble pocket change to one of the most valuable coins in existence is a story that captures the imagination and reminds us that treasures can be found in the most unexpected places. For collectors, historians, and enthusiasts alike, the 1999 2 pence is more than a coin. It is a legend, a symbol of the enduring power of history, and a shining example of how the smallest things can sometimes carry the greatest worth. And as long as numismatics continues to thrive, the story of this remarkable coin will live on, inspiring future generations to look more closely at the change in their hands, wondering if they too might one day hold a fortune in their pocket.